Can we go?
Can we go?
Can we go far?
Can we go far? Can we go far beyond fossil fuels, fossil fuels, fossil fuels, fossil fuels?
The joy of dancing with other people is a deep human communal need to dance. I had the opportunity to do a retrospective. It's kind of culminating my 40 years here. Who are my students right now? And what dances would suit them? Which pieces would ignite an interest in these students? And there's a lot of different strands of students. I chose a couple of solos that I had done back in the 80s. And one of the solos I've made into a group piece for the students, and another I've just kept as a solo. And they've learned the dances by watching old videos of me. Because they'd never seen me dance when I was young. They just see me now as a mature, very mature woman. So I think that was helpful for them as well as for me, because it's so, oh my gosh, she really could dance back in those days. And I saw for myself, oh yeah, I really could dance back in those days. We have a group of students who are very well trained in ballet and are kind of negotiating the world of contemporary dance and sometimes feeling a little like a stranger in that world. So there's one piece that is more ballet background. And then there's another group of students who are interested in musical theater and dance, and so I have one piece that's more of dance theater. I thought, well, that piece would be good for them. I decided to call the piece Roots and Offshoots, a project in the sustainability of dance. Can dance sustain? Can dance be sustained in the university? Can dance be sustained in the culture? Can dance continue on? Those are the questions that I have in my head, especially given the budgetary impact of all these cutbacks. And I thought it would be interesting to bring back students who have studied at Sonoma State and students of students who have studied at Sonoma State. So several generations of people who've been connected in some way to Sonoma The piece begins with I do a lecture on dance in my dressed in my academic regalia, talking about the history of dance, and I try to encapsulate the history of dance from Lucy Afarensis, Lucy, the remains of Lucy, ancient first humanoid, to YouTube in 2 minutes. So that's what we often have to do as GE teachers, is cover a tremendous amount of ground in a very short period of time. So I said, well, I'll just put that in this piece. So it's going to be about my experience as a teacher, both as an academic teacher and as a dancer. So I got a collection of former students, I got high school students, and then the current students. So we have 3 different kind of generations, in a sense, of dancers who are working on this project. And I remember my first choreography class that I ever taught there. I had a belly dancer and a group of other people, and they were just like in a totally different world. And that was the time where people were doing, getting frisbees on the lawn and selling bagels and for credit and things like that. So in her final exam, the belly dancer's final exam, she took off all her clothes and painted her body in these wild colors and went out by the lake and did her final exam in my class by the lake. And at the end, she dove into the lake. And those were the 60s at Sonoma State. It's changed a lot since then. I was very interested in what's called the field of somatics. And somatics is all the other information about the human body that comes not through the dance class, but through alternative ways of educating the body. So from your core, curve over to your left side and do a ball. Good. And then from your core, expand on your side, breathing and opening, feeling breathing, curving in, and breathe. Good. They go on to be professional dancers. Some have, some haven't. They use that information in their work. Some of them have become massage therapists or Feldenkrais teachers or yoga teachers. They use the information they got at Sonoma State in their work and in their daily lives. And we built a really, I think, a really rich, on a small amount of money in a small program, I think a really rich experience for students. Young people love to move. And balancing movement with their academic world is the best of all possible worlds for them, because it just is. They see all the skill level out there in the media world, and they want to get there. And they want to look like one of those people who could dance with the stars. So they're eager to train, and they're eager to be disciplined in order to do that. Mm-hmm. I think back in the 70s, maybe early 80s, people were more into it, I think, for self-exploration or something like that. Young people in particular are more interested in making dances that come from their own narratives, from their own experiences, and not so much an abstract perspective. And I see that in art and dance also, that people are wanting to say something in their art that means something to them, that matters to them as individuals. When I was growing up in dance in the early 70s, it was a post-Merce Cunningham era, where all my peers and contemporaries were trying to look like Merce Cunningham. It was all kind of abstract, expressionistic, and nobody wanted to do anything about narrative or stories, that it was really just about the body and shape in the space. I wasn't in that school. That didn't interest me. It was fine that I think he's a magnificent choreographer, and I think he's probably one of the most brilliant artists of the 20th century, but that wasn't me. I was somebody else. And so I was more interested in making dances about my experience of being human rather than sort of this abstract. And I might do some more community type work with people of different ages, and just affirming the value of dance and the spirit of dance, that you don't necessarily have to be a magnificently trained dancer in order to dance. The joy of dancing with other people is a deep human communal need. And I can see myself continuing to do that, plus garden. I'm really proud of the dance program and how it has evolved over the 40 years I've been here. And Sonoma State, how Sonoma State has evolved at the same time. We've grown up together.